Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this week's video, I'm going to give you guys a gym tour. As I mentioned in my previous videos, I moved from Illinois to Georgia, so the garage gym is over. Right now I'm in my basement gym, so I didn't want to do a garage gym in Georgia because that would be way too hot in the summers. Also, we couldn't take the DIY squat rack that I made, but I did get a actual power rack, which I will talk about later when I do the gym tour. And I just want to show you guys how I'm organizing this home gym. And also, I'm working out right now and I'm doing a squat workout, so I'm going to include some clips of that in between of me showing the home gym. And lastly, a lot of things are still not finished since I'm always busy with other stuff. There are a few things which when I have a good amount of time I will perfect and make the gym look a little bit prettier. But yeah, I don't have time to do that, but I'll talk about them, and then when I have time to actually do them, I'll videotape and show that too. And as for working out, I am still following the program that I wrote in last video, but I did make a few changes that I'll put up right here. Basically, I just cut down each workout since I actually do not have any time to work out. But I just cut things down and made them a little bit less leg work, so less squats and that kind of stuff, because my knee is still a little bit irritated and I don't want to over irritate that. Also adjusted the number of sets, so it's like around 10 sets per workout since I only have around 30 to 45 minutes per workout. I'm doing squats today and also some T-bar rows and some accessories. I moved T-bar row over today because I want to show you guys how I use the T-bar setup, and also I didn't do that earlier this week since I didn't have time, so I'm just moving it here. Okay, so a few things about my knee pain that I want to talk about first. So other than cutting out some squat volume to like prevent more knee pain, some things I'm changing about my squat is that even though I can squat deeper when I'm in a wider stance and I get less knee pain when I'm in a wider stance, I don't stand wider. I actually stand pretty narrow because the wider I stand, the more prone I am to knee caving, and like the knee caving is what causes more of a irritation and injury. So I want to prevent knee caving, so that's why I'm choosing a narrower stance. And also I am really focusing on my form, so on the way down when I squat, I make sure to lean forward a bit more at the top of the lift, and then when I come up I have to think of chest up really fast, or else my hips rise up before my back. And those are some things that I always like needed to work on, but like especially when I get to heavier weight, it's really easy to just like resort to the easier way of squatting. And another thing is that I am always keeping midfoot, which I have a tendency to lean forward when I squat, so I'm trying to think of heels into the ground, and that has helped. And last thing is that I don't fully lock out my knees at the top of the lift. I do more of a soft lockout, and that wouldn't be allowed in comp, but like I can still lock out. It's not a problem for me to lock out, but I'm training without locking out too much because locking out does cause more knee pain. So those are a few things I'm changing in training for squats. And I just squatted 145 for a triple, but like my form is really consistent and I feel like I'm using my muscle, and all my lifts dropped a lot since like not lifting for a few months. So for my heavier days, I'm doing triples basically. So for squat, in the past, I think the most I tripled was 260, and now I'm tripling 145, but it's because of the knee issue. That's why squats went down a lot. And then for bench, the most I tripled was 115 for 3. The most I tripled in the past was around 145, so that one is catching up. And then for deadlifts, the most I've tripled was 270. Now I'm tripling 210. So like percentage wise, my bench and my deadlift is like around the same, and deadlift is improving around 5 pounds almost every week, and then for bench it's around 2 to 3 pounds every week. And squats, I'm taking it easy just because I don't want to irritate my knee and like go backwards in progress, so I'm keeping it safe for squats. Now I have one more squat triple, and I'm thinking we go to 150 and see how that goes. Okay, that 150 was actually much better than I thought how it would move. I feel like my form is really locking in since like starting to work out again, and I feel like it's better than my form like before my injury, which is probably because I care more about it now, and like I'm really focusing on trying to get everything perfect so I don't injure myself again. But anyway, basically all my lifts, like they always look pretty fast on video and like look RP pretty easy, but it feels really heavy. So that's like usually what happens when you don't lift for a while. Like you still have a lot of your strength, but it's just your nervous system that isn't adjusted well because you haven't lifted in a very long time, so your body is not used to the weight. It feels like extremely heavy, but it doesn't move really slow. But anyway, now I'm gonna basically talk about some of the things around the home gym. Okay, so this is basically it. It's not very fancy. I don't have a lot of machines, just basically a power rack and a deadlift platform. I'll put a few videos up of how it looked like before I got everything set up. But yeah, this is the basement gym, and the ceiling is around 8 feet tall, so I could fit this rack in here. These are like the stairs that lead down to the basement. So like the gym is like towards the inside of the basement, and when I walk down the basement I have the mirror, which I have not yet to hang yet, but it's gonna go up here. And I have where I foam roll, and right here I have my adjustable dumbbells. This dumbbell rack my dad made in Illinois and we brought it here. And first I'm gonna talk about the power rack. So the power rack is by Rep Fitness, which is the brand I got my bench from. This is the PR-1000 rack. The reason why I chose this rack over the rack that has like the pull-up bar on top is because this rack has 2-inch spacings, and that's really important for powerlifting because you want to find the perfect rack height, or else it's gonna make everything so much harder. That's why I picked this rack over the other rack. Also has these things where I can rest the bar here, and also has these weight horns where you can like put more weight so the rack doesn't tip. And I just keep 25s here since I have 4 of those and I don't usually use the second pair, so I just keep those here. And then on the top of the rack there's like one skinnier pull-up bar and one fatter pull-up bar, and I put like bands around it to do banded pull-ups and that kind of stuff. And then there's numbers for rack heights, and most importantly the reason why I wanted to get a power rack is because of the safeties, since I didn't have any safeties for my old rack and I had to like get people to spot me or just like YOLO it, and if I do fail I would have to like dump the weights, which is not safe. So now I have safeties, and what I did is I just put some pipe insulation that you get at Home Depot. This is how it's actually supposed to look, but then when the bar hits this it's gonna be super loud, so that's why I put this on and it just slides on. What that does is that it just prevents any loud noises or any like dents in the safety or in the bar. This is just a piece of plywood, so I can like squat on a hard surface, which is more similar to what happens at a meet. So the reason why we cut the wood to exactly like inside the rack instead of putting the rack on the floor is because when the rack is on carpet it doesn't slip at all, so like it's really hard to move, but when it's on the plywood it like slips around. So that's why we cut down the plywood so it fits exactly inside the power rack. So next to the power rack I have this box, which just basically holds my knee sleeves, chalk, baby powder, barbell pad, and that kind of stuff. I have a station where I hang up my belt and my parents' belt, and also wrist wraps and straps. And right here next to this stuff is my weight tree. So I actually did get a weight tree to save space and to like put the weights up vertically instead of like lying it down on the floor. I got this weight tree off of Amazon. This is really sturdy and I like it a lot. It was really easy to assemble as well. And you also have this center thing to store your bar, which I always use my bar so I don't have to use this. So I have this thing right here, but you could also put an extra bar right here. And this is my bench. I have a video on unboxing the bench, and it's also by Rep Fitness, and I like this bench a lot, except it's like a little bit too low than comp standards, so that's why we added these tiny things to elevate it so it's more up to comp standards. So next to the weight tree I have this band area, so I basically hang some of my attachments, my bands, more bands, and this is the 10-pound bar for those small weights that I could use for stuff lighter than 45 pounds, and then some other attachments. So the point of having this is I can do some banded work if I want to hang a band from the bottom or from like chest level, since I can only hang up bands from the top on the power rack. So I had something similar like this in my old garage gym as well. And behind this thing is just some storage area. I might actually like make a quilt and put it here so it looks pretty, but for now we just have this white piece of fabric covering the storage. And then also like this wall isn't like painted really well, but I want to paint a mural right here behind the deadlift platform so it looks really pretty. So yeah, these are some future projects that I might do And last but not least, I have my deadlift platform. So this is the same platform I had in Illinois. We just moved it over and it's not perfect, but it gets the job done. And I got this for free on Facebook Marketplace. So it's basically just 3 pieces of OSB boards plus some horse stall mats on top. These things are just to load the big plates easier. Since I don't have a deadlift jack, I just use that. And also, sometimes when I have to do exercises that are less than 135, I can just lift it off of here, so I don't have to like do extra range of motion. But these are removable. The only thing that's not removable is this. It's just a piece of plywood with 2 2x4 pieces. I use that for T-bar rows. It's basically just screwed into the deadlift platform. Like, I don't use that corner of the deadlift platform anyway, and so it's like really long screws, so it's not gonna move. And as you can see, I also use that stand thing, so I don't have to put that smaller plate on the ground each time, and that puts me in a more comfortable position. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the home gym. There's still a few things to do, including like the mirror, which I do use for accessory movements to like kind of look at my form and make sure I'm not like cheating too much or that kind of stuff. But I don't use the mirror for SPD movements at all, since you won't have a mirror when you compete. So even though it's like a really basic setup, it gets things done. I can still get really productive workouts out of it, and it's also not very expensive, and I feel like I can get use out of all the equipment and have enough exercises to train for powerlifting. So the other things that I might do here is just more aesthetic stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below what you want me to make next. Like the video if you did, subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss another one of my videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.